Hey guys, Zen here, and today we're going over an actually massive news update for Rainbow Six Siege. Today we're pouring over a brand new trailer, and we're also going to speak about a big new milestone for the community. So if you join me, welcome back. But before we begin, I wanted to show you guys the best call out ever made in Siege, quite possibly, and what it leads to. No, really, roll it.
He's in that bathroom, Quantum, to your direct right. Pre-fire it.
Right here?
No. Closer. In. Left. Now.
Oh! Now, guys, if you're looking for a focus drink to increase performance for your next season of Siege, check out Now Sense. I have a special code to unlock 10% off anything you buy in the shop. So click the top link in the description, use code ZEN at checkout, and enjoy the upgrade. So firstly, we're talking Ember Rise because recently Ubisoft released another new Origins trailer. Now, personally, I love these trailers because they give us a more in-depth look at the new operators coming to the game. To my knowledge, they never released one of these trailers for Phantom Sight, and hey, maybe that's part of the reason we don't feel as connected to Warden and Nock, because we just don't really know where they came from and what they fight for. But Goyo and Amaru are a completely different story, and honestly, their beginnings may just hit you in the feels. So let's check out some of the highlights of where these two operators came from, how they know each other, and the origins of their designs in-game.
Thankfully, Nathan.
The inspiration was drawn by big part by the community. They suggested a ladder operator. We tried to find the sweet spot between, okay, we understand what they want, so we figured, you know what, why don't we just do a grappling hook? We were actually able to use it indoors at the beginning, to any balconies indoors, so we're thinking bank there. But quickly we saw it wasn't very Siege anymore. She was zipping herself to any point she wanted. Maybe not game breaking, but it was certainly Siege breaking. So we had to adjust her so that what she does now is probably the best for the game.
So Amaru is an archaeologist, anthropologist from Peru. She joined the police force and then realized that art trafficking is a huge problem in Peru. There are a lot of artifacts that go missing, they get shipped across borders, and so she started fighting them in the jungles. So she changed and evolved around that idea and eventually became who she is now.
The beginning prototype of the Vulcan shield was nothing what it looked like today. It was actually a small canister that you could throw anywhere you wanted. It was a red color. You shoot it, it explodes. It didn't work out too well because on the defender side, you never really remembered where you hit it, and when you were dead and you were trying to make callouts to your allies to shoot it, it led to very cryptic callouts, like right next to the bed, no, right beneath it, and defenders could never really get that team play they were looking for. It was tiny. Every time we made it bigger, on the attacker side, they would see it and deny it super quickly. So that's how it came to be that the canister is still very available for defenders today with the Vulcan shield because it's protected by the front. But yeah, on the attacker side, well, you can see it. Now you have to decide what you do. How can you solve this puzzle? The fire was actually twice as big. It was really huge, and most of the time there were more defenders dying than attackers. So we kind of brought it down. It kind of feels like a double-edged sword sometimes, but now it's a controlled one.
When Goyo was 11, his father and sister were killed in an explosion. His mother shielded him from the blast. As a result, she was crippled, but she survived and he survived. As his gadget evolved and it got put on the shield and it became much more of a mind game, then we started to think he's much more of a tactician. He's someone who uses this as a deterrent.
Now, one of the biggest takeaways, at least for me personally, is that again, we see that promise of year 4 where the devs double down on the identity of these operators. Honestly, the story of Goyo, even with the inclusion of Amaru, is quite sad, but his overall design uses that story and incorporates it into his gadget and his playstyle, which ties everything together for the operator and makes him that much more exciting to play and get to know. We also learned that Amaru actually did have the ability to use the Gata hook throughout the map, specifically on balconies, but during testing, it was just too much and very overwhelming for defense to deal with. They mentioned that it just wasn't Siege anymore, and from the outside looking in, I get that. So essentially, this was where some of her limitations came from. It's unfortunate because if you think of areas like the main lobby balcony of Bank, or even the top ledge of the garage on Clubhouse, these are places that make a lot of sense for Amaru to be able to use the hook, but of course at this time she can't, and again, it's because of these early tests during development. But really quick, what do you think? Should Amaru Goyo have the ability to use the hook inside the map on balconies specifically, or do you agree with the devs that it's just no longer Siege? Let us know down below. Now, another interesting bit comes from the early stages of Goyo. The canister was basically the whole gadget. It didn't have the deployable shield attachment, and it could be thrown wherever you saw fit. The only problem was being able to accurately relay that information to teammates, which just wasn't effective at the time. Now, what we have today with the deployable shield combo, that is the Vulcan shield, was probably the most balanced way to go about the gadget, but I think it would have been pretty interesting to allow the gadget to be hooked up to walls, kind of like the bulletproof camera, and say if it's placed at a doorway leading into the objective, you could shoot it out and it'd have the same effect. If you could imagine a scenario where you could place the canister behind the trash cans over the drone hole on Chalet in the garage site, that's the most popular planting spot for attackers, and I could see a Vulcan canister making it difficult to get down. Of course, guys, I'm just rambling off some thoughts at this time, but that's what these origins and concepts are about. Figuring out different ways to implement all of the gadgets in a game in a way that feels unique but balanced. Finally, I'll say that if you're looking for a fun fact, Goyo is actually the name of a volcano in Mexico, and is of course where Cesar Hernandez gets his operator name from. Nice touch. Let us move on. Next up, guys, we've reached a monumental milestone as a community. 50 million players. For the start of a brand new season of Siege, this is huge, and of course the game is only continuing to grow as new content and new seasons are introduced. Now, recently with Operation Phantom Sight, times have been rough, if we're being honest, and I think there was a lot of disappointment this season in particular. Yeah, the game has grown through this period, but there's also been some players pulling back on playing the game, and that's okay. It's only healthy to take a break when you need one. But here at the start of the season with Ember Rise, things are looking promising, and so far for me personally, I've been enjoying my time with it. Now, I started playing Siege way back in Operation Velvet Shell with the introduction of Mira and Jackal, and the player count was just north of 15 million, and I'm curious when you guys started, so let us all know. But guys, that's gonna do it for this video, but the content here on the channel is only beginning to flow, and I don't want you to miss anything, so we'll return here soon. There's a lot of new things coming in Ember Rise, and I'm excited to break it all down, and so look out for a new video going over everything coming very soon. I suppose now is a good time to remind you guys that I'm giving away the Mira Elite, or the R6 credits equivalent, once she arrives, and all you've got to do is be following me over on Twitter, so there's a link down below to make sure you get your shot. Hopefully I'll see you there. I'm really not one for drawn out endings here, but I just want to thank you guys for all the support recently. You guys have been doing everything, supporting the brands I work with, liking the videos, sharing the videos. It doesn't go unnoticed, and well, yeah, I appreciate it, guys. 200K is the goal here, and I think we're gonna make it, so thanks for that. But I want to hear your thoughts. Which operator has your favorite backstory, and what season did you start playing Siege? Let us know everything in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. I'm out.